Here we are. Here we are. Welcome to the Life and Transitions Experts podcast and YouTube channel and Facebook group. Wherever you're finding this, I hope that this is helpful for you. I hope that you find the page and resources that we put up here helpful for you. My name is Courtney Rollins. I consider myself, or I like to say that I help folks with the property and stuff when it comes to those big transitions in life. And one of our big and inevitable transitions in life is the passing away of loved ones and people around us. And that sometimes requires that the estates or the property, the assets, and even the debt that's left behind needs to be accounted for, and quite often that goes is through the probate process. So I I started off me searching for ways to find properties through help and through service, and there are a lot of estates that have properties in them that need some type of solution, whether that's buying it quickly to unleash the equity so that heirs can have the inheritance, or helping them or helping folks even keep the property and maximize or stabilize it and turn it into a rental, or make sure that it's put into the proper place, legal structure, so that he can avoid probate in the future. That's really one of my missions. I have said I'm going to help 100 million people make some type of significance in their lives. And one of the things that I can do is help folks who are going through probate or avoid probate by sharing some of the knowledge that I'm receiving. Now, I'm not an attorney. I'm not a financial advisor, and I like to joke that I don't even play one on my YouTube channel. I do consider myself an expert in the field because I am dedicated to learning and dedicated to sharing what I know. So let's go ahead and take a look. We're going to look briefly at 5 types of trust. Again, if you want more details, I highly recommend that you can reach out to me because I have a network of vetted professionals, vetted estate planning lawyers and attorneys and professionals all across the industry. And in fact, I have an appointment at 5 p.m. I'm going to sit and have a conversation with someone I met recently and figure out where they are and point them in the right direction with a great attorney or even resource. Because some of these things you definitely want to make sure you have it done legally, and some of them may definitely require attorneys, and others just require having the knowledge and the ability to do it. So let's look at 5 types of trust that may be helpful for estate planning. All right. So again, I was just saying, discussing that the probate is the legal process of settling the affairs of a deceased party. And I'll go back to there. There are a lot of steps that's in there. One of the reasons you really want to avoid probate, it can be very long. It is definitely public and can be dragged out, and it's pretty expensive. So quite often, people hard-earned wealth and assets that they've built over time ends up getting eaten up by the probate process, and we want to avoid that as best we can. So let's look at one type of a trust. This is called a revocable trust. And where did my document? Yep. And so the revocable trust is very popular for estate planning, particularly in North Carolina. It allows a person or individual to still maintain control over the asset during their lifetime. And while in their lifetime, they can actually designate who the beneficiaries are. So, and they can also designate who receives the asset when they do pass away. And one great advantage of this is that it does avoid probate, and it saves a lot of time and costs that are connected to the administration of the probate of the estate. So once someone passes away, their properties and things that are in their name have to be rectified. And since the property is technically not owned by them, it's owned by the living trust, they get to avoid that revocable trust. And you can modify and adjust and change it. Now, the next one you might hear quite often is the irrevocable trust. And the one difference is that he's irrevocable. It can't be altered once it's in force. This type of trust does offer a little more asset protection, and can, depending on how it's structured, it can minimize estate taxes. It can protect folks from creditors and provide special needs for beneficiaries. Trusts are so awesome because you can make it as specific as possible. One great thing I'm really excited about the trust that I've set up is that I get to even have a conversation or with folks once I've passed away, placing my values, thoughts, and things that I want the family to, or the people who I've designated to be the beneficiaries to at least understand or to know. You can put a lot of stipulations into your trust. I don't know how. complicated you want to get with it, but you can definitely you could say, "Hey, this house cannot be sold unless it's sold to someone in the family over the age of whatever, however you want to set it up." But as long as it's legal, you can really dictate um, that. A testamentary trust is created through a person's will. Now, this becomes effective when the person does pass away. Now, this type of trust does allow someone to designate how the estate's assets will be distributed once they're gone, and it can still be tailored and provide a lot of protections for folks. The one challenge with a testamentary trust is that you still will have to go through probate, particularly, or at least from my understanding, you still, unless the trust is funded before the person dies, it still has to go through probate. So and a funded trust means that the assets were actually taken out of that person's name and put into the trust name, and it was recorded. It was recorded, publicly recorded, so that now we know that the trust owns it. So testamentary trust, I, I need to look deeper in there. I wonder why somebody would do that if they still would have to go through. What are the benefits of a testamentary trust if you still have to go through probate? I'm gonna make a note and ask some of my smart attorney friends. That's yep. Okay, so the fourth one we'll talk about briefly is the special needs trust, and this is to help for set the financial future of folks who may have disabilities or while still allowing them to keep their eligibility for different government benefits. So there are a lot of stipulations and when people are receiving benefits from the government, and so this trust allows the person to have supplemental care and support without jeopardizing that access to Medicaid or Social Security income or really other programs that are pretty essential to someone who has special needs. And then fifth and last trust we'll talk about here is the charitable trust. And you may have heard that before, John Rockefeller Charitable Trust, Carnegie Charitable Trust. It's one great thing about being rich. You actually get to be able to, well, wealthy, I suppose, is you are able to make an impact with your funds. So if you're looking to make a lasting impact, even if you're whatever the size is, if you want to support some philanthropic movement, the trust can be a very effective tool. People you can actually have people donate assets to the organization, and they could get tax benefits from that. And it could also be structured to provide income to the donor during their lifetime. That's pretty cool, pretty awesome right there. So there are a lot of type well, trust out there, even more than the ones I stated. I just wanted to point out five right here, and it is very. I definitely encourage folks to strongly consider or sit down with an attorney to see if this is something that be worthwhile for you or your family. Um, yeah, and if you do also need someone to reach out to, or if you want to save some of the time with an attorney so you can get your mind and thoughts straight so that you can be efficient when you're in there, feel free to reach out to me, Courtney Rollins at Estate Pro Service, and would love to connect with you and hopefully serve and help. All right. This is the Life in Transitions Experts Podcast, LITE. Let your light shine. Cheers.